Submarine revolves around Oliver Tate, a loner teenage boy living in a seaside Welsh village, and his newfound relationship with classmate Jordana Bevan.
I asked if she was my girlfriend now. She said,
I'll think about it.
but what she meant was yes.
But as Oliver and Jordana get closer, the marriage of Oliver's parents begins to crumble.
My parents have not had sex for 7 months. I've been monitoring their intimacy via the dimmer switch in their bedroom.
Submarine explores the depths of teenage angst and fantasy, while dealing with the realities of making relationships work. Submarine, written and directed by Richard Ayoade, and presented by, oddly enough, Ben Stiller. We've all just seen it, including, well, welcome to the show, Alexia and Salim.
Hello.
And since it's your debut, we're going to put you on plot detail.
This is his first feature film. It's based on a novel by Joe Dunthorne, and it's about this young, precocious teenager, Oliver Tate, and he's going through all of his first experiences with love and loss and family troubles, and he's just trying to juggle having his first girlfriend and going through some serious family issues.
I wish I could hand in this excuse now.
Please may Oliver be excused from class. His tiny heart is broken.
And just trying to figure out where he belongs in the world. And I thought it was a really charming and sweet movie.
I agree. It was very charming and very sweet in the first half of the film. Second half, I got a little exhausted because the first half was so dense, and you just get thrown out. Like, it was stylistically, it was just intense.
Yeah.
The script was really winning, and everything just happened to the main character. I didn't feel like he really worked for anything, which was really tough as an audience member just to sit there and see this, incredibly charming character have wonderful things happen to him without having really done anything to deserve them. So.
Well, he is a bit weird. I mean, and there's a possibility that it may all be in his head because he's narrating his own story. He's got his own self-referential thing going on.
He faced conflict that he became activated.
Which is the most interesting part of the film.
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
really
Was the trauma, like 3/4 the way in.
It was a little late.
And that was a huge tonal shift too. So I almost needed a little bit of preview of that in the first half of the film, I think, to prep for that.
Well, I mean, it's
side.
definitely a movie can be two movies. Like, it could easily be two movies by themselves. It really followed and mirrored Oliver Tate as a character growing up. So by the end of the movie, I really felt, with everything that happened, that he is different, that he has changed, that he's more of an adult.
Now, I feel like with the self-referential nature of the film, it presents itself as this kid trying to more or less lose his virginity. And I feel like the film knows that it's a coming-of-age story to the point where it's going to be going into another story because it doesn't want to just be a coming-of-age story.
It's just trying to...
Well, the more I thought of it, it's like being young itself. Everything's a big deal, and nothing makes sense, and it has this kind of topsy-turvy nature. And I was like, the film reflected that.
Yeah, but being young is never so charming and so overwritten, and it was really conscious of itself. And it was just, for me, it was a film school student's. It was a film student's wet
It's like
dream.
the kitchen sink. It's like my first movie. Let's jam everything in it. But for this, it worked for me.
Well, so what about this script, though? Because it's very dense, it's very reflexive, it's broken down into prologue, act 1, 2, 3, and then epilogue.
My name is Oliver Tate. I suppose it's a bit of an affectation, but sometimes I wish there was a film crew following my every move.
Does this work as an ingenuous vehicle for a romance, or is it alienating?
Well, it wasn't a romance. I mean, for me, it split half its time between Oliver Tate and Jordana, a really cute couple with really genuine feelings for each other. They'd great, just like, the montages in this film were just like really heartwarming. And then with his parents and their awkward, farcical relationship. And I think they drew far too much attention away from Jordana and Oliver. It was a distraction.
But I liked that because I felt like they were really sweet and charming together, but after a while I was like, okay, I want something different. It gave it to me, and I liked the whole background with his family because I felt like I knew more about him as a character because of it.
Well, especially with the dialogue, it's just so witty, and it's not trying to be funny. People are talking, and what they say just happens to be really funny, which I just love because it's more endearing to the characters. This is their character traits. They're very awkward and weird.
And part of this dryness, I think, comes from some pretty astonishing performances.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Craig Roberts, who plays Oliver Tate, this kid is going to be a star. I mean, he's literally... He's made his mark. This guy's going to be around for a while, and I was really impressed by him.
And I just love the relationship between him and his co-star, Yasmin Page, and she was just very raw.
And my parents are going to the cinema on Thursday. The house is empty on Thursday evening.
Are you asking me to come round and have sex with you?
If I say yes, is that less than the chance of you wanting to? To us, and a wonderful evening of lovemaking.
You're a serial killer.
Everyone was great. All the performances were spot on. Everything was wonderful. But it's to what end? I mean, if you don't have a sweet, simple story, which is all this film really needs, then why am I watching these great performances?
There is a sense that
definitely.
Oliver's burgeoning relationship may repeat what the parents are doing.
Yes,
Exactly,
I can see
exactly.
that for sure.
Like-
It's an echo.
Him and his father had so many similarities in their story with their significant other, and I just thought that was a great way to like bring it back around with her.
I think we all agree that the cast is routinely spectacular.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and part of that, I think, is the work of writer-director Richard Ayoade, who does a great job of wrangling all these great talents. So he seems to be an up-and-comer. How do we feel about him, his career, his work?
Well, I mean, clearly to me, The Graduate is a huge influence on this film. I mean, Mike Nichols was an actor turned director, and even the look of the film and this kind of underwater motif is very reflective in both films.
And he just was, he's like, this is my first film, much like Quentin Tarantino, I'm gonna make the film that I want to see,
Right.
that I'm gonna enjoy,
Yeah,
which I like.
I'm gonna cram Rushmore, Harold and Maude, The Graduate, every movie I've ever seen in my first.
Yeah,
And
every
it
movie
wor-
that
to me
has
it
made
works.
something
But
Right,
what is
so-
his comment on those films? He's using those films, but what is he saying about them?
But you're right. He doesn't
All
say
right.
much.
What about the look of the
The
film?
look of the film, it's so murky, and every shot is sort of obstructed by all these different things. And again, The Graduate reference. I see all these. We're literally underwater. It feels like we're
You're
going
really
through.
going to the well, not
Yeah,
going to the
yeah.
well, aren't you?
We're going through Oliver's world. You know, we're traveling with him.
I guess I was reminded a little bit of Garden State, sorry.
Oh,
And
no.
it was very much
No, no,
like,
no, no.
look what I can do.
That's
Look, I'm so
cruel.
smart. I'm a first-time director. I'm underestimated. Let me show you what a great director I am. And that's how I felt about this movie.
No, it was. It's like when you're a little girl and you go in your mom's like bathroom and you see all her makeup and you're like, oh my gosh, and you just throw all of it on because you're so excited by all the choices and you look ridiculous at the end of it. It was just too much.
You
It
should
just
have
was
I
stripped
think
it
it was
down and
beautiful
made
with the
critical
makeup.
decisions.
I guess if I were to make a film, I would want to just show everything that I thought was interesting.
Because you may
and
not
cool.
be able to make another film.
Exactly.
But it was exhausting. Like by the end of it, it was like, we get it. Like you're good at this. Like I understand.
But isn't it better to have too much than not enough?
Well, at least with not enough, you could project or you can read into the imagery instead of being forced to see it how the director sees it. I just felt there was no latitude for me to view the film in a different way.
I think it's time to take it to a vote. So please take your tickets. Right, so on your debut, Salim.
I love this film. From the very first title card to all the awkward humor. I thought that Craig Roberts is The Star is Born. He was amazing. And Richard Ayoade, I'm very happy to see a new director of color doing big things. So definitely a see it.
Alexia?
Yes, I also love this film. There were some plot hiccups, but the performances were so amazing, and I think it's worth buying a movie ticket just to see the performances, so I definitely say see.
It was a good try. I'm not going to give him a full ticket for a good try. He needed to strip it down, and I'm going to penalize him for that. So, stream it.
Great writing, great performances. I believe a star-making performance by Craig Roberts. So I say see it.
So that's 3.5 tickets for Submarine. Haha, that's a see it. So chin chin.